Are you hanging around with the right people? Are you surrounding yourself with people who are lifting you up, are making you a better person? If you're looking around right now and it's like, wow, people that I'm hanging around with, they're actually like weighing me down, then you're really going to enjoy this episode because we are talking all about the people and the community that you keep. So let's get on to the show. You're listening to Be in Demand, the podcast for honest advice, inspiring stories, and ideas for growing your business by leveraging the expert that you are. I'm your host, Laurie-Ann, business mentor, and I'm also a reformed painfully shy girl, red wine lover, and exercise enthusiast. Join me as I share how being positioned as the expert in your industry, even if it's a busy one, will help you stand out and be the one in demand to hire and work with. Oh, hello. I have been dying to share this particular episode with you. But before I start, it's fall, it's biking season with Dad is coming to an end, I am sad to say. This happens every year. Like we go from our street, we do a lot of mountain biking during the fall time, dressing a little warmer, of course, and pretty soon we are going to be hanging up those bikes for another season. But I'm hoping that maybe I can get Dad to come down to our Florida home and we could possibly start our biking season early next year, like maybe in April. So that would be a whole lot of fun. So today we're going to be talking about the community that you're involved in, that you're a part of, the friends that you keep. Jim Rohn is the one who said you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Ouch. That truth can actually hurt. And it can also be like a relief. Like, oh, now I know what I need to do. You are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So when you start to look around yourself and look at your goals, what are the things that I want? Am I involved with the right people? Do I hang around with the right people? Are the people that I'm hanging around with, are they lifting me up? When you think about, if you wanted to learn how to play golf a few years ago, like I did learn how to play golf and wanted to get better at golf. So I joined a league because I knew I wasn't good enough, but I wanted to improve my skills. So you hang around with other people who are a little bit better than you, who you can ask questions to, who you can watch and sort of model, and watch them play golf. And that's how I became a better golfer. If you know that I'm an exercise enthusiast, chances are I hang around with other people who also exercise. And I do. And I've mentioned on the previous episode, I was talking to you about my OT, my Orange Theory bestie, Emmy. But I've got other friends and we will do some sort of athletic, running events, hiking, going for walks. I meet certain friends at the gym besides my Orange Theory, but that's because that's a part of my life. So who are you hanging around with? If I said to you, would you actually take money advice if the 5 people that are around you, were bankrupt, lost their homes for whatever reason? Let's just say it wasn't because of the global pandemic. Let's just say they're just bad with their money. Would you take money advice from somebody who's not good with their money? No, of course you wouldn't. So that's the whole purpose of surrounding yourself with other people. So I'm a part of a high-end mastermind. And when I say high-end, this is something that I don't normally talk about, but I am involved in a very high-end mastermind. And in order to qualify to be in this mastermind, you had to be making at least a minimum of $10,000 a month. That was the minimum requirement. Plus you had to have an online business. And so this is a group of women that I hang around with on the regular. We not only have supportive pods, we have monthly meetings online, and it's 10 women that are in different parts of the world. So there's this community of women that I get to tap into. I get to tap into other people's wisdom. I get to share my experience. Each of us brings something very unique to this mastermind group. But it's a great place to be able to ask questions, to share resources like, hey, here's a tip, here's a new app that I'm using, to be able to have somebody to just bounce ideas off of when you're struggling, because this is a group of women that get me. Because maybe you feel like you're all by yourself. You feel like your significant other doesn't support you. You've got friends that just don't understand what you're doing. You could be the very first entrepreneur in your family. So to be able to surround yourself with the right people, because you've heard me say before, you've got to take care of from the neck up. Because when you take care of from the neck up, your mindset, the way that you think, it takes care of the rest of you. It pulls you forward. And when you're with the right group of people who they get it, they understand what you're going through, what you've been through, and can offer you tips and advice, it can make a world of difference. This is why I'm such an advocate for hiring a coach. I have a coach myself. Happens to be the person that's running the mastermind, but I have private sessions with her. Because when you have that coach, when you have that person that's by your side, you at least have somebody to bounce those ideas off of. You have somebody who can see basically through your bullshit, call you out on stuff. And I tell you, as you're growing your business, having somebody who can do that for you is amazing. It helps you cut through all the junk and move forward quicker. And that's exactly one of the things that I do for my private clients. That's exactly why being surrounded by the right people. Because if you haven't been discouraged yet, had a bad day, felt overwhelmed, it's going to happen one day. It's not that I'm being a negative Nelly, but it happens. Even I think shared with you in that bonus episode, the inspiration one, episode 9, I recorded that because I was having a bad day. And I recorded that episode because when you need to have that inspiration, I want you to have that episode in your back pocket so that you can listen to it. But it's about surrounding yourself with the right people. And that's what I had to come on here and talk about. I look back along my entrepreneurial journey, and after some pretty eventful things that had happened in my life, this is when I started really getting into speaking and taking it a little more seriously. I went to the National Speakers Association meeting, the chapter that's right here in Boston. And it was just to hang around with other speakers. I had no idea what was possible with speaking. In these meetings, I was surrounded by speakers that were making anywhere from a few $1,000s a speech to $1 million a year, had these amazing businesses that weren't just speaking. There was consulting, there was book writing, there was courses and programs. I mean, you name it. There was just an interesting to be surrounded by people and different ideas than what I had originally thought. And, you've got to hang around with your peeps, as we used to say in NSA, in the Boston chapter. And to be able to hang around with these people, these are your friends. These are people who can refer you to other people. And the same thing for the mastermind that I'm involved in. There is such an eclectic group of people. We all have very different businesses. Not everybody is a business coach. Not everybody's doing courses and programs. It's all about doing our own work and what we're really good at, and to be able to be a referral base for each other as well. When a client comes into, somebody else that's in my mastermind comes into their world and they know that they're not a good fit together, but hey, they can refer them to myself. And I in turn do the exact same thing. And that's all what being a part of that kind of a group. It really does lift you up higher. I know that because I'm hanging around with these type of women, they make me better. And my private clients are benefiting from my high-end mastermind. I have always said that any program that I've ever invested in, any book that I've ever read, any conference that I've ever gone to, all of that information, my clients benefit from. So my clients may not be making $10,000 a month quite yet. Pretty soon they will be. I'm involved in this mastermind and they're hearing a lot of the information and the tips and the resources because it's like a ripple effect. Because they're involved with me, it's not like I can separate that information from them. No, I share and use that information and use that with my private clients. They should benefit from every program that I've ever been in. And that's probably, I've never really added it all up. I would have to just go back and look at all my taxes. But I'm sure at this point, with how long I've been in business, I would say somewhere maybe around $300,000 at least. And I think I'm being super conservative about that right now. So what I'd like you to do, what I want to encourage you to do, is to really evaluate what are your goals, where are you headed? Look at those, and then look at the people that you're hanging around with. And when I say hanging around with, I don't mean like on a Friday night, but who are the people that you spend the most time with? Who do you have to turn to when you've got a question? Do you have a coach? Do you have a bestie who is also an entrepreneur and who gets it and understands what you're going through and can help guide you, who can also help celebrate with you when you need to celebrate the small stuff and the big stuff? And if you don't have that kind of a community, I want to invite you over into my private Facebook group, Entrepreneurs Making an Impact. The link is in the show notes. My private community is a safe place for you to share and be heard and to get support. That's what you are looking for. If you don't have that right now in your entrepreneurial journey, I want to encourage you to find it. Whether you find it on Instagram, find it over in my private community, feel free to reach out to me either on Instagram or on Facebook. Just have this dialogue just to let you know, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's the sort of community that I've got. I love having these conversations with my listeners. I love knowing what you're up to and continuing this conversation. And I also want to encourage you to reach out. If you feel like you've been putting out valuable content and your calendar is still empty from sales calls, then I want you to grab one of my Book More Calls assessment. This is where we will look at the 3 core areas: being positioned as the expert, attracting the ideal client, speaking their language, is your messaging on, and do you have the right solution for their pain, to solve their pain and problem. You're going to walk away knowing exactly what you need to shift so that you can book more calls instantly. The link for the Book More Calls assessment is in the show notes. So till next time, have a great week. Surround yourself with the right people. Find community so that you all lift each other up and you are a bigger and better person because of the group of people that you hang around with. Talk to you soon. Thanks for hanging out with me. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And join me over in my private Facebook group for more tips, community, and free trainings. You'll find the link in the show notes. You can also help this podcast reach more listeners by leaving a review. And as a thank you, each month I pick one of my reviewers to win a free coaching call with me. So if you haven't done so already, please leave a review and you could be the next winner.